AHRI members, and welcome to... I'm sorry, you think this will be offensive to some people? Oh, well, you may be right. Not everybody can have 6 rings. Hello, AHRI members, and welcome to another exciting edition of the AHRI Video Need to Know. Now, the truth is, even if we had not planned on doing a Video Need to Know this year, we would be doing a Video Need to Know. We certainly would much rather see you in person, but they do say that absence makes the heart grow fonder. So we are very much looking forward to seeing you, if not at the Expo, certainly at the spring meeting, which will be right here in Washington, D.C. Of course, they also say, out of sight, out of mind, but let's hope you don't feel that way. In any case, we have a lot of exciting information to bring you, so let's get started. Samantha, it's great seeing you in person again. We are blessed beyond belief, really, to live in this city. You used to spend a very large part of your day on Capitol Hill. And just down Pennsylvania Avenue is the Willard Hotel, where the term lobbyist, it is said, was coined. You're a lobbyist without lobbies. So can you kind of walk us through what that's been like?
It's been very interesting and certainly not as much fun. But, you know, I think one of the things that we were able to benefit from in not being able to see people in person, we have laid the foundation over the last year and a half on all of the issues that we're working on that we hope come to fruition. We have such good relationships with congressional offices that I think we certainly have benefited from that. And our issues are certainly pretty well known. I think that that's been a real advantage.
Can you kind of walk us through a little bit about how AHRI, the different departments, work together to make sure that our industry was considered essential?
That was a great adventure and actually kind of fun. We got to work with federal agencies that we hadn't had an opportunity before. We now have some comfort in knowing that we have language that is now in federal documents about who is essential in this country.
In addition to the new folks that we got to know in the Department of Homeland Security and the CDC, there were some relationships that we had with, say, the State Department, for example, that came in very handy in this situation too.
Yes, the international team's relationship with the U.S. Embassy in Mexico was really critical to being able to have the most recent up-to-date information coming from Mexico City. They were willing to speak to our members. They were amazing, and those contacts that team had really paid off for this industry.
AHRI still had its legislative priorities that, you know, were put forth by the Government Affairs Committee and blessed by the board, and there's some very exciting development.
It's been a 3-year battle to get the blessing of the chairman of the Environment and Public Works Committee to help us in trying to reach compromise on language related to the HFC phase-down bill in the Senate, and they have done that.
There are a couple other issues that you're working on very hard on Capitol Hill.
One of the things that we're looking to do is get some VRF transparency language included in the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 21. We will have water heater definition change legislation introduced in both chambers, in both the House and the Senate. So our fingers are crossed that we can really get somewhere in those issues.
We have a new online platform that's going to help our members, you know, be able to easily affect the legislative process.
So I was getting kind of worried that there were so many issues that we were covering these days, and that our members didn't have an opportunity to voice their thoughts on all of that legislation with their members of Congress. So what we did was set up a call to action center on our website, and now we have an opportunity for members to weigh in anytime they want on a variety of issues. And so that's what hopefully will make it a useful and powerful tool to our members, that they can get every employee that they have to weigh in with their senators and their representatives, and at the state level as well.
It was great talking to you, great seeing you again. Keep up the good work. Hopefully we'll see you again in person.
I hope so.
Letters to Legal with Caroline. Hi, AHRI members. I'm Caroline Davidson Hood, AHRI's General Counsel, and I get a lot of mail. Let's see what we have in the mailbox today. Dear Caroline, I've heard DOE is being sued for not getting energy efficiency rules published quickly enough. Where does AHRI stand on this? We see this as an important impetus for EPCO reform because the DOE cannot meet its statutory deadlines. If you look at the way that the rule is written, they have to publish a rule on day 1, and that rule becomes effective 5 years later. But then a year after that, they're supposed to be publishing a notice of proposed rulemaking. But that notice of proposed rulemaking is supposed to be economically justified and technologically feasible. But the new amended standard has only been in effect for a year, so they don't have any data or market analysis or any basis to know whether or not their last rule even made any sense. Therefore, they're in a very tough situation where the serial rulemaking pressure that's on the Department of Energy works against their statutory obligations to come up with good rules. AHRI intends to participate in the event that that this lawsuit goes to settlement, and that settlement results in a regulatory schedule so that we can put our efforts to making sure that that regulatory schedule makes sense. Dear Caroline, one interest group has filed suit in California against electrification initiatives out there. Can you comment on how that might affect our heating members? I can. This lawsuit is called the California Restaurant Association v. City of Berkeley. This case recently went before the judge in the District Court of San Francisco, and that judge took a look at all of the issues that were before her, and she said, California Restaurant Association, I want you to go back and write to me a more extensive advocacy piece on EPCA and why gas bans might be preempted by EPCA. I think that will be a major benefit to our heating manufacturers who are developing more climate-friendly ways to use natural gas rather than eliminating that option for consumers. You recently coordinated a session on navigating compliance at the DOE. Can you tell us more about why it seemed important to host that session at this time? That session was hosted by Marianne Sullivan, who's AHRI's outside counsel, who's helping us out with the process rule case. A large part of her practice focuses on helping manufacturers work through non-compliance challenges that they have with the Department of Energy. Her key takeaways there were self-reporting is your best bet, because the vast majority of DOE's non-compliance cases go to settlement, and you're going to get a better settlement if you are the one that comes to them with the problem rather than one of your competitors. Dear Caroline, why is defining water heaters important? Is AHRI making any progress on water heater language? So the answer to the second question on whether or not we're making progress is absolutely yes. We are making a ton of progress, more progress than we have seen in years. We anticipate that there will be a bill introduced very soon that sets forth a new definition of water heaters. Dear Caroline, what advice would you give to young people who are thinking about going into law? Don't be a lawyer. No, I'm just kidding. If you would like to be a lawyer for an association like the Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Institute, then I think that that is an excellent choice. It's interesting, the issues are ever changing, the members are excellent. So with that, if you have any other letters for the lawyer, you know my email address. Thanks so much.
Well, good morning, Bill.
Hey, Francis, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you.
You haven't changed much.
Obviously, this situation has made things a little different for certification this year. Can you just give us an idea of some of the changes that our participants have had to go through?
We adapted to the circumstances, and we implemented certain changes. So we allowed virtual tagging of equipment. We also did is we allowed virtual witness testing for programs that require the laboratory agent to be at the manufacturer's facilities. And also we allowed virtual observed testing.
So each year in the certification program, you have certain goals and milestones that you try to meet. Has this pandemic situation impacted that at all?
Yes, there has been an impact. However, current progress has exceeded our forecasting. Yes, there are some delays in certain programs. However, I'm very excited that so far we have completed 70% of our tested annual samples, and we're looking to complete 90% of all samples by the end of the year, which is a great achievement under these extraordinary circumstances.
Speaking of innovation, last year we talked about the CEO dashboards. Can you just give our members kind of an update?
The dashboard was indeed innovative. It provided cutting-edge technology to our industry and predictive analytics using cloud computing and artificial intelligence to provide something that our members and this industry needed, and only AHRI could provide. The feedback urged us to continue to provide these tools to not only the CEOs, but to senior management of our member companies. And we are about to do just that by releasing in 2021 a new portal for our members, a new web application that would include more analytics, an in-depth look of our members' product ratings, a drilled down, let's call it, version of the two most important aspects of the dashboard, which is the industry comparison. Now, instead of just looking at the efficiency comparison between our members, you can look down to the specific product comparison. And also, the same would apply to the predictive part, which is the simulation, the DOE simulation, and the risk assessment for systems, okay, specific systems in our members' lineup.
Is there anything else that you would like to add from this rather unusual year?
Yeah, I would like to conclude with some exciting work that we are doing in developing Standard 140, and this is the standard for laboratory qualification. What that does is provides a way for manufacturers, our members, to qualify and understand how the laboratories perform. So we're very excited to release this standard at the beginning of 2021, a standard really that DOE asked us to develop, okay? And that would be an industry first as well.
So you got a big year coming up.
We do.
You think you can do that all from home?
Hello, AHRI members. Thank you for taking the time to join us virtually for this year's Leadership Forum. We hope to be able to connect with you in person sometime in the near future. The past few months have been marked with significant uncertainty for sector services in general, but for the applied sector in particular. And that's not just due to the pandemic, but because of significant staff turnover that we've experienced since the last time we got together. But despite the very difficult recruiting environment, we've managed to attract quality engineers with significant industry experience to fill those vacant positions. Associate Program Engineer Sarp Hamamjalu, Program Engineer Kyle Bergeron, and Senior Program Engineer Jamie Ye are now led by Manager of the Applied Sector, Julie Majorin. Julie has taken over Kaizon Chen's former role and will also undertake personnel management of the program engineers in the refrigeration team. I am confident that our new hires will add immeasurable value to the organization. Regarding the safe transition to low GWP refrigerants, we are participating in the development of product safety standards and building codes that are essential to the use of these new flammable refrigerants. The Applied Products Working Group for System Efficiency is working to transition many of our applied programs to mapped rating certifications to help develop system models. Also underway are revisions to AHRI standards 550, 590, 551, 591, 540, 530, and the recent reaffirmation of Standard 900. On the topic of standards, we place a lot of emphasis on evaluating our processes and streamlining our procedures to strengthen the integrity of our programs this year. Integrating the standards department into sector services has been critical. We believe that this will support the growth of the standards program and its adoption into regions outside North America. Our standards team, led by Carl Best, who joined us earlier this year, is already doing significant work to improve the output and revise our standards process to reduce time to market and to align with the goals of the reInvent. Thanks again for listening, and I look forward to seeing you all in person in the coming year.
Hello AHRI members. It is a pleasure to report to you on the activities of the unitary sector. We continue to make good progress despite the COVID-19 pandemic on items related to safe refrigerant transition, global standards and certification, and system efficiency, among others. To further AHRI's work on the flammable refrigerant transition and HFC phase down, the unitary sector's efforts have been focused on the transition of unitary small AC and heat pump equipment to the Department of Energy's Appendix M1 by January 1st, 2023, due to DOE regulations and compliance requirements. Our drive to provide global standards and certification has prompted the launch of international ratings for unitary small equipment in the directory, a draft globally accepted VRF performance rating and testing standard, as well as a draft of AHRI standard 211241, performance rating of unitary air conditioning and air source heat pump equipment. To support load-based testing, we are in the process of developing a new certification program for demand response equipment based on AHRI Standard 1380, demand response through variable capacity HVAC systems in residential and small commercial applications. The following working groups have been set up on AHRI Connect, a new unitary systems efficiency working group that will focus on developing mapped rating programs for components and subsystems, and AHRI's Clean Energy Future Task Force Group to direct AHRI's efforts with respect to decarbonization and electrification issues in states and localities. With respect to testing, there have been some COVID-related delays, but we are working with certification program participants to grant extensions for selecting and delivering units to labs and allowing remote virtual observations of testing. We're keeping staff up to speed by collaborating with Intertech for the virtual technical training it now provides to its staff. Also worth mentioning is the fact that the sector lost 2 experienced staff members since we last met. Sean Andrews was promoted to Unitary Manager to replace Ted Wade, and Antonio Romeo was brought on board last December to replace Caroline Henley. Associate Certification Engineer Akshaya Sridhar is also a recent hire who will provide additional support to the team. We have now begun a structured program of cross-training staff to build expertise and help ensure a consistent approach to providing service to our members. Thank you for your time and attention. I would like to remind each of you that more information on the activities of all sectors is provided in our respective monthly newsletters. If you are not receiving them for some reason, please do not hesitate to contact us.
Greetings, AHRI members. I hope you and your families are safe and well. The Refrigeration Sector's Leadership Council set specific goals in 4 areas at last year's Leadership Forum: system efficiency, flammable refrigerants, the HFC phase-down transition, and global standards and certification. With respect to systems efficiency, energy management for the built environment aimed at optimizing building components, we have expanded AHRI's certification and regulatory efforts. A refrigeration systems efficiency working group was formed to collaborate with the System Steering Committee, and we published standard updates to align more closely with Department of Energy regulations. This year has also been full of HFC phase-down and flammable refrigerant items. We've been hard at work with California Air Resources Board, or CARB, on HFC regulations and the impact to supermarket and refrigeration manufacturers and end users. U.S. Climate Alliance and EPA have also been addressed at a national level, as opposed to a patchwork state approach to refrigerant regulations. We are also constantly engaged with the policy team in support of the AIM Act and AHRI Safe Refrigerant Transition Task Force, CANINA, and the Fire Service to ensure safety standards and codes are updated to allow the safe use of flammable refrigerants in all refrigeration applications. Several working groups have been formed to support the initiatives mentioned. In addition to UL CSA 60335 2-89 updates, AHRI 15 revisions, and the research and risk analysis in these areas. The refrigeration sector is also expanding its commercial refrigeration certification programs and regulatory reporting efforts to comply with NRCan, CEC, and the U.S. Department of Energy, or DOE. In closing, I am pleased to report that working remotely has not affected our ability to deliver for our valued AHRI members. The initiatives of the refrigeration sector have continued, and most meetings and conferences are now online. We've recently added Greg Kaliniak to the team as a program engineer. Greg graduated from the University of Maryland with a BS in chemical engineering and has responsibility for the ice makers and chemical product types and certification programs. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing many of you in person in the near future.
Greetings, AHRI members. Despite the pandemic, we've been working hard to advance our product strategies at the federal, state, and local levels. A significant amount of time has been spent on outreach to the Department of Energy, challenging the validity of its commercial package boiler rule, pursuing a legislative solution to amend the statutory definitions of water heaters in the Energy Policy and Conservation Act, and requesting extensions to the 2021 Energy Conservation Standard due to the hardships that segments of the sector are currently experiencing. We've also been working both within AHRI and with outside groups on the decarbonization and electrification issue. Several working groups have been established, and staff are working with each other and with members to ensure proper collaboration on this issue. I'm very happy to report that relentless efforts of members and staff have resulted in the introduction of legislation in both the House and the Senate that would amend the water heater definition. So kudos to our water heater manufacturers and to Samantha Slater and her team on that. We've also been engaging compliance committees to address industry issues, such as adding Canadian requirements to the AHRI operations manual for residential and commercial water heaters and the boilers programs, and preparing for 2021 power consumption requirement data collection for boilers. New ANSI AHRI standards are being developed, including AHRI Standard 1430, Demand Response for Electric Water Heaters, AHRI Standard 1330, Performance Rating for Radiant Output of Gas-Fired Infrared Heaters, and AHRI Standard 1400, Performance of Indirect Water Heaters. We are currently conducting much-needed research into decarbonization and a life cycle climate performance tool, an assessment of hydrogen-enriched natural gas, and flammable vapor ignition resistance to keep the information and programs we offer relevant and in demand. A number of working groups on Connect are collaborating on issues related to certified venting, ANSI Z21.13 revisions, ASME boiler and pressure vessel code, and the impact of COVID-19 on heating products in the sector. The Indirect Water Heater Performance Standard Working Group is now 100% complete in reviewing technical comments on temperature and pressures for the new AHRI Standard 1400. I'm confident that we will complete 100% of our annual certification test this year, despite all that is happening around us, and can assure you that the heating sector staff will remain hard at work. Since we last met, we brought on Panos Faikas as an Associate Program Engineer and Yodi Bismuth as a Certification Program Coordinator. Shannon Corcoran, Taekwon, Kobe Waxman, Jasonica Holloman, and I remain at your service. Stay safe and have a good rest of the year.
Hello, Fresho and Jim.
Despite the uncertainty caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, AHRI continues to make very strategic efforts regarding trends in the HVACR industry, such as increased demand for industry products, more globally positioned manufacturers, and increased government focus on industry's products in the context of the relationship between climate change and energy efficiency. For the purpose of this discussion, I'd like to focus on the AHRI's International Affairs team's efforts regarding the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement known as USMCA, the work we're doing to achieve essential status for members in Mexico in light of COVID-19 restrictions, and then my AHRI colleagues, Francois from AHRI's new MENA office and Bridge from our China office, will provide an update on their respective operations. AHRI and its members supported the passage of the USMCA. As follow-up, AHRI recently joined the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the National Association of Manufacturers, and more than 100 businesses and trade groups in a letter seeking an important technical correction to the USMCA to allow members greater flexibility in claiming refunds for certain processing fees. AHRI continues to leverage our extensive network of government agency contacts to achieve essential status for the HVACR and water heating industry and its supply chain in Mexico. We've written to governors and other elected officials of every U.S. border state, as well as the leadership of every Mexican state, and engaged with the Office of the Secretary of State, with the U.S. Embassy and staff in Mexico City, and with the Mexican Secretary of Economy. And AHRI staff conducts bi-weekly teleweb briefings for members at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Those wishing to join these briefings should contact me at jwalters@ahrinet.org. Several advocacy resources are available on AHRI Connect, including a global COVID-19 response policies document to enable members to track official global policies, AHRI advocacy efforts, and industry association information. I urge members to find and review these resources and to reach out to the team if you require any support. AHRI's expanding global presence in response to members' needs, as seen by the establishment of our office in China and the recent opening of our office in Dubai, is one avenue through which we provide a level playing field for competition by ensuring that AHRI standards and certification programs are widely adopted. I'd like to use this opportunity to convey to members the strategic importance of why we work, where we work, and what we're trying to achieve. Francois Bourri leads the team in our new MENA office in the United Arab Emirates. Francois, we know you're busy getting things off the ground in Dubai and leading AHRI's first office dedicated to serving the MENA region. Would you discuss the team's immediate goals and how they meet AHRI's strategic priorities?
Thanks, Jim, for this introduction, and to the team for paving the way for AHRI MENA. Greetings to everyone from Dubai. It's a pleasure to address you today. These are exciting times, as AHRI is now able to extend direct support to our AHRI members that are active in this region, our region, the Middle East and North Africa. I'm proud to be part of a team of seasoned industry professionals well-versed in the region's challenges. I'm joined by our Managing Director, Khalid Isa, who started in May, and more recently by our Technical Director, Nabil Shaheen, and Technical Analyst, Dalip Singh, who joined us in September. Our current goal is to establish effective and close working relationship with our AHRI members in the region. By working together, our collective efforts are multiplied tenfold and provide us with a unique opportunity to shape the region's energy efficiency standards going forward. We are working with consultants and regulators to increase awareness and adoption of AHRI standards and certification programs, to reduce the energy footprint in a region that has the highest CO2 emissions in the world. It's been quite exciting to roll out our new AHRI standards and certification programs developed specifically for this region. We now have T1, T3 certification programs, both in 50 cycle and 60 cycle. And we will be working tirelessly to add more AHRI standards that are relevant to the MENA region. To support these efforts, we are undertaking significant outreach, both virtually and in person, to define the solutions for challenges that are faced by our AHRI members present in our region. We are currently engaged in an ongoing exhaustive regulatory review with local regulators to better understand the impact on the HVACR and water heating industry. These efforts are being discussed at length with key players in the market. Rest assured, AHRI is advocating for a more integrated, cohesive set of policies and programs to benefit all members with interest in the MENA region. I thank you for your attention and support. If you have any questions or ideas, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or any of my team. You can find our contacts on ahrinet.org/MENA. It is now my pleasure to introduce my colleague in China, Bridge Xu. Bridge, how are things in the China office?
Hello, Francois and Jim. Greetings from the team in China to all AHRI members and the staff. This year is quite busy and successful. We continue to support our members and the certification program participants, driving AHRI certification and bring new certified product ratings to the market, especially for the air side products. we've seen a remarkable 25% growth in participation of our certification programs, especially on air side products, such as the air cooling and heating coils, and the air handling unit casing programs. The 2020 annual certification tests assigned to our office are more than 90% complete. An additional AHRI initiative this year is the launch of certification to international rating conditions, including T1, T2, and T3 for specific regions, which Francois mentioned. The team in China is working with AHRI members to certify their products for the global market, with GD Media being the first to offer UNITARY small equipment certified at T1 conditions. COVID-19 has significantly reduced business activities for small companies, adversely affecting their ability to maintain their certification status. And this eventually led a few terminations before June. However, more applicants have since joined AHRI after July, and it looks like the industry is recovering. There is virtually no impact on PBM applications. The vast majority of AHRI's members and the certification program participants have remained on board. There was a notable effect on AHRI certification testing in China due to COVID-19 travel restrictions and the delays caused by logistical challenges related to the shipment of testing samples. In addition, international participants can travel to the US to support testing of their products, highlighting the urgent need to qualify local levels to support a growing number of AHRI certification participants in the region. Contracted independent labs can travel to conduct witness testing. So this has a significant impact on programs that rely on witness testing, such as chillers. At the same time, these challenges force AHRI to think outside of the box. We have developed testing protocols and solidify our need to continue to provide regional testing that supports our growing global certification footprint. This concludes updates from the team in China. Please, if there are any questions from membership, kindly visit ahri.net.org/China to email any of the members of our team. Thank you.
AHRI members, this concludes our international panel segment. We hope you found the information presented here insightful and useful, and we all look forward to continuing to advance your interests across the globe. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you all for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this snapshot of what your association has been up to since, well, I guess since the expo, because that's pretty much the last time we have seen you. If the pandemic has shown us anything, it is how important the work that you do is to the health and safety, productivity, and comfort of all of the citizens of this country. You might even say that you are essential. Of course, an essential part of this video are the outtakes, and which show you how difficult it is to get through an entire video session without making a few errors here and there. So enjoy.
Hey, I'm recording.
Yep, recording.
Hello, AHRI members. We managed to attract quality engineers, and I
mean, I seriously got like a bite. Like there was a fly landed on me and bit me.
Good. I've got a pocket.
United Arab, I blew that. Let's start that over.
Letters to LEGO.
No!
Oh my God.
Our current goal is to establish.
There's a fly in my face.
Nope. Hello, Francois and Jim.
You think you can do that all from home?
Why are you asking these things? Let's cut this.